Welcome everybody back to Echoes in the Wind. We're back
Whoop, whoop.
and we have a really good show for you tonight. And go ahead, Kimmy, go ahead.
I'm Kimmy. Make sure to like, share, and follow us here on Echoes in the Wind, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and also on Race World and Texas Race Hunters.
Okay, we have a really great show for you tonight. Come making our comeback, and it is John John.
Woo!
Woo, drum roll.
You guys kind of up a little bit there, but I'm still hearing you.
Okay.
No, you're good.
Yes, buffering bad tonight for some reason.
Yeah, something's going on with this internet.
Yeah.
We apologize. So
What's been going on?
somebody's at my door. Kimmy, can you please take over?
Yeah. So John, how's it been going since we last talked to you, and what's been happening?
Oh, everything's been good. Just getting and planning for the wedding and just staying busy with all that. And I don't know, just it's been going good, very good lately. So no complaints here or anything like that. So we got about what 7 months, maybe something like that. So it's
wow,
quick. It's coming quick. Last year we were like, oh yeah, we need time. Let's take it slow. And I'm like, it's gonna come quick. Next thing you know, we got 6 months.
How did y'all meet anyway?
Oh man, that's kind of a funny story. I first met her. It's now been like 9 years. No, it was 5 years when we. No way. Really? Okay. So she's telling me it's been about 5 years since last time we met. So the first time that we met, I was actually investigating the museum where she was actually working at.
Wow.
So that's how we first met, and she says no, but I kind of knew right away that I liked her, but yeah, she says, no, you're paying attention to me. Yeah. Well, 7 years ago. I told you almost 7 years ago. It's 9 years. But yeah, I mean, that's where we first met, and kind of the investigation there at it's called the Santa Fe Railroad Museum. But yeah, we met there, and it wasn't really like we spent the whole
apologize.
Time. No, you're fine. We didn't spend the whole time together, but she was kind of with me off and on through that night, and we just kind of not really hit it off, but kind of after that we kind of lost touch with each other, then found each other, lost touch, and we were just back and forth for a while there, and kind of stayed friends and all this other stuff. So then I don't know. Yeah, went from there.
Are y'all going on a honeymoon, and where are y'all going?
We are going to Louisiana. And
Sounds like I missed some good stuff here.
Yeah, we're just talking about the wedding.
It's what you get for leaving.
Oh.
Get right through the door. we're gonna be in Louisiana for about a week or something like that, and just I don't know, just take in the environment, see some cool stuff out there, and we've heard so much about it, so we want to go check it out. I mean, one of our other places too was in Salem, but I don't know.
Right near me.
Yeah, so everything that we wanted to look at, we could look at for like a day or so, and I was like, no, we actually want to spend a week out there.
Yeah.
Just looking at other places, and I don't know, just seemed like Louisiana was just like the one that, yeah, let's go to that one because there's so much to do out there and so much good food out there. So why not?
Louisiana girl right here.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. So that was ultimately the main pick. So we're gonna take off and spend a week out there after the wedding. So
that'd be nice.
We'll get ourselves into.
Even there's a lot to get into down there.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all we got so far. It was just that. But.
Oh, awesome.
So I don't know what was asked, but I was going to say, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? And
yeah, so, well, I'm from Oregon. I was born here in Plainview, Texas, which is like way up there in the Panhandle. As soon as I was born, we took off to all around the place actually. So, but mainly I grew up in Oregon and would visit family here in Texas off and on. And my dad had decided that he wanted to be closer to his mom, so he moved us over here to Central Texas in Rockdale, and that's where I went to school. My last 4 years of high school over here, and just kind of went back and forth and stuff like that. So, I spent time a little bit everywhere, but during that time, got into music, got into photography, got into pro fighting. I mean, there was a lot of stuff that I did, but the paranormal was always kind of like the hidden thing I did, because it wasn't very popular back then, and
right,
it wasn't really like a coffee table subject that you would just discuss with anybody.
Yeah.
People would just like look at you crazy if you're like, yeah, I see ghosts. You're like, what the hell is this person? It wasn't nothing like that, but
I see dead people.
Yeah, pretty much. And then they try to help, the psychic ward on you. But yeah, I mean, I just dabbled in everything, as far as like entertainment goes, so falling into that, I worked with my dad when he was, he did the same thing I did, but he actually prayed over people and stuff like that. And they call him a curandero. So, that's what he did. And I caught his footsteps, and, I never looked back, just diving into it head first, so now I just, that's all I do really. I still do photos. I really don't do music anymore at all. I still get the itch to like write some songs and maybe just try to record, but yeah, I'll do like a few bars here and there, and I'm like, okay, I'm done. So,
do you play? Like what do you play, or
no,
maybe just sing? Or
I could play piano, but I was all by ear. I didn't know anything about notes or anything like that. So if I had a tune in my head, I could do it, but I wasn't very that good at it. But the one thing that I could do was write. I could write music.
Oh wow.
But I can't sing. I tried to sing. I'm not a very professional good singer. So we were more of a Latin rap group. So
oh wow.
We toured a lot. When we were kind of young, 18, 19, 20. We got signed to Universal / Dope House Records. So we were there with them and toured with them. But during that time too, I always wanted to do photography, but I was not really fully committed to like buying like a professional camera or anything like that. So, it was still there. The paranormal was still there, and I would randomly and just like yourself, I would hear. I've heard things all my life, I've heard things, see things, and growing up with the family that I grew up, it was just basically a part of life. I really just thought that was normal when you would see things and hear things and all this other stuff, and kind of find out that it wasn't. But yeah, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. But I'm still, like I said, I'm still doing photography. I'm still doing my art shows. I don't really do any music anymore, but yeah, and I'm still doing paranormal stuff. So
yeah, I looked a little bit at your photos page, and you take some good pics.
I appreciate that.
I was like, holy cow.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I worked myself from doing the basic landscape and photos of flowers and all this other stuff, and then got into like modeling stuff, and got into concerts and whatever I could take pictures of, I did. And then it wasn't until later where I actually found where my knack was in photography. It's when I decided to pursue more, which was more of like what you guys see now, the darker type of feel for those type of things. And my inspiration for looking at that type, for wanting for my viewers for looking at my photos, is from the National Geographic. So when I would in junior high, it was always those that my teacher always had those in his classroom, always. And when I would look through them, you would see those photos, and you could just look at the photo and just get the whole story from either the subject, or the way the person is looking, or how the environment around them is looking, or whatever it may be. It pretty much told you the whole story there. So yeah. I try to put that into my photography now, that you can look at that photo and you're just like, yeah, I know the mood, I know what's going on there. Just the whole scene of it gives you the story without having to read anything, So that's my way of thinking when I want to take a photo, and everything now. I try to find different angles and try to find the angle that really tells what I'm thinking, and maybe you can see that when you actually see the photo itself. But
Yeah, that's really cool.
excuse me. But yeah, I mean, I've been doing that now for almost, my son is 20, so about 18, 19 years, something like that. So
Wow.
Wow.
I better gotten good at it for doing it.
Right. No, I mean, they're really good pictures. Like I put it in the caption, so y'all make sure to click on the captions, and all his pages are listed on there for you.
I appreciate
and that way they can just go like and follow them for you.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll hook you up.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I've worked with countless magazines. I've done a couple of books for covers. I've photographed like concerts with like Snoop Dogg and Warren G and ZZ Top.
Wow.
I've done a whole bunch of stuff, So, you gotta work yourself through that to get where you need to be, and I did, and I paid my dues and all this other stuff. So,
So you really worked your way up in a lot of fields.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, we grew up in that whole era of like, hey, you gotta earn your stripes no matter what. It was not here's the second place trophy and you get to do this. Like, we were never, taught like that. I mean, even in fighting, when I was, trying to be a professional fighter, I mean, I had to put in the work to get to where I wanted to be. Even when
I was just gonna ask you about that. Can you tell us about the fighting? Like, what kind did you do?
It was mixed martial arts. So my dad, he was a Golden Gloves boxer. He was a champion. So growing up, he kind of taught us here and there. But being teenagers, we weren't really trying to hear that and all this other stuff. It didn't really stick with me. But then I discovered wrestling in junior high. So I wanted to participate in that, and then we found taekwondo, and then
wow,
and stuff like that. Me and my brother, and then I discovered when we came to Texas, I discovered Krav Maga. So I was like, oh, I can do this too. And so then I found American karate, then I found jiu-jitsu. So I was actually trying to turn professional. So I'm 5'7" or something like that, and she's I'm a little bit taller than that. Maybe.
I got my belts in there. In the drawer. I've done taekwondo.
Yeah.
I've tried other arts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like them.
No.
No. Like, I can't remember the names of them. I just don't like them. And this was like, I was getting my kids into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up having an accident with my left arm, nerve damage. So being alone with kids, I was like, no, I want to learn how to defend myself. And we got into taekwondo, plus I wanted my kids into it.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. So
we did that.
Yeah, with me, I mean, I was fighting at 135, 145 pounds. Right now I'm like 240 right now. So you can pretty much, so, but back then, the UFC didn't have any of those weight classes. So I was actually shooting for WEC, which came out of California. So I worked myself up, and I was actually trying to get a fight and all this other stuff, and then went to a tournament, and then I literally blew out my left knee. Like I tore my MCL, my ACL, and both sides of my meniscus on. So that really put a damper on things.
Yeah.
Set me out for like almost a year. And even after that, I was not, how do you say, I was still not confident in my left leg. Also.
Not 100%. Yes. I had the meniscus and all that. And,
it's terrible too. I mean, they had me on that machine. It was just like my leg was just like all day like this. And then they had me on some crazy pills that I would hallucinate on. But man. But that whole
it's true.
it was my mom's like when I did that, I stayed with my mom, and she said like one day I was just the TV was off, and she heard laughing, and I was like on my bed, and I was turned against the wall, and she said she just heard me laughing for no reason for like 15 minutes, just laughing at the wall.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yep.
but yeah, I mean, even after that year, just trying to get back into rehab and actually get back into it again, it literally took another 6-7 months for me just to be like, okay, I can do this, I can do that. Even just jogging, I mean, it was just, oh my gosh, it was a long process. And then
Yeah.
I kind of got into depression for that, and I blew up from like 135, and I went up to like 185, 190, and I was like, I got depressed and all this other stuff. I found food, and I started eating.
Yeah.
And I found the boxing gym here in Temple, and I was like, you know what? If I can't take any kicks anymore, I can sure as hell throw some hands still. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go try. So I went over there, and literally my first training day, I sparred with this professional boxer that he had there, and I was so out of shape. And the coach was like, okay, well, we can see what we know what you got. You got some power behind you and all this other stuff. I was like, cool. So we started training, and then I went from 190 at that time all the way down to like 155. So
wow.
155. And then I felt really good. My knee felt good. Everything was good. I told my coach, yeah, put me on. Let's go. Schedule me a fight. He's like, all right, schedule me a fight. And then literally 2 months before or a month before the fight happened, my knee gave out again.
Oh,
man.
I'm not surprised. Yeah. Once you hurt your knee and you have an injury like that.
Yeah. So the fight didn't happen. Then my knee went back to normal again, and I was like, okay. I started training again, and everything was good. Literally, everything was good. And then we scheduled another fight, and literally a week before my knee, and it got really big. It got there, all this other stuff. I didn't tear anything, but fluid just built up inside my knee, and nope, couldn't do it. And then I don't know, that day I was just like, you know what? I guess it's not in the cards, for me. So I helped him out, training kids and all this other stuff. And, just started doing that more. And, I kind of walked away from it eventually, but yeah, don't test me though. I would.
My nephew, he's on, I guess if you Google him or whatever, he does kickboxing.
Okay, Muay Thai.
And he's going pro.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's been doing it since he was 4, like you, young.
Yeah.
And he was under Matty Franco, but now that he's gotten bigger, and they do, the fights and they sell tickets, like he gets a portion of the tickets now. And
oh, nice.
I think his name now is Pretty Boy Franco, something like that. You look under there.
I'll go look him up.
And my son goes to all his fights, and they're a pretty good amount for those tickets. Oh, I can't go. I'll watch, like when they video it, I'll watch it afterwards. I just can't go and watch the fights. I can't.
Some people can't take it, especially when there's a big cut on their face or somewhere. It's like, ooh.
Well, in that kickboxing, it's like everything goes. When they do that hammer like this, and I can't.
Everything, yeah.
Yeah.
Cindy wants you to tell us about your wrestling you had to do during an investigation.
Yeah, what's up with that?
That's kind of a long story, but just a short story. I basically was trying to pray over somebody, and during that time, he kind of got influenced by something, and he was like shaking and everything. And then so where's my hands at? So his thumbs were literally on the other side of his arm here. And his eyes turned white, and he looked at me, and he was trying to stand up, and I had my hands behind his neck like this, so that way he wouldn't get up, and I put all my body weight on him. And when he did that, now this man was probably 115, 20 pounds. And at this time I was a little bit heavy. I was around 260. I was a healthy boy. So like, you know, so when he did that, I put my hands behind him. And when he did that, he lifted me up with him. And I was like, what the hell?
Wow.
He was a lot shorter than me. He was like maybe about 5'2", maybe. I'm being gracious. He was probably about 5'2" around that time. You know, so we started wrestling, and well, anyways, he tried to pick me up, and then when he tried to push me, I pushed my hands out like this, and then we were just wrestling with each other, and then we fell to the ground. And when we fell to the ground, I was trying to do the sign of the cross on his forehead, and then say a prayer, all this other stuff, and I had my holy water in my other hand. So we were just like wrestling all over the place, and then he was just saying "F God, F this, F your God," and
yeah,
going on crazy. And then I started yelling at the other investigators who were in the other room, because there was nobody in this room with us, so the door was closed and everything. And I started yelling for the other two to come in. And when they finally did come in, one of them said, "Oh my God, what's going on?" And then I don't know, this other dude he believes in like spirit animals and stuff. So his spirit animal was like a bear. So then when that guy came in, the dude that I was actually holding down or trying to hold down, he was just like, "F your bear, and F your spirit God, and F this." And he was just like, "F everything." So like while we were doing that, I put him in a crucifix, meaning like I have his head like right here, and behind his head, I put my arm on top of his back arm and clench it down. And then his other arm is between my legs. And so with this, I have control of everything, and I have my full body weight with him, you know, so he can't do anything while I'm saying, you know, prayers and stuff like that. So that as I'm doing this, and he was just saying, "F your God, F this again," he just would not shut up. And I said, "You know what, if you say that one more time, I'm going to put this holy water in your mouth." And he just said, "F you and F your God again." So I went, you know, I squirted that holy water in his mouth, and he just screams like crazy out. And it sounded like 3 voices were coming out of his mouth. And then after that, he kind of tries to stand up, and I don't know if you ever seen The Undertaker. So, you know, when he just sits up from laying down, that's what he did with me. He sat up with me on top of him, and I'm like, what in the hell? So like, I do it again. I squirted again.
Yeah, it's like that power comes from.
Oh yeah,
it's crazy power that they get, right?
Oh yeah, I've had some other cases where, you know, it's just like super crazy. But yeah, so as soon as I squared the water the second time, he kind of backs up like this and then hits that wall solid on his back. And then he's like, he shakes himself out of it, and he's like, "What happened?" And the comical thing is, like, my shirt was all like folded everywhere, my hair was all everywhere, and I was like, oh, you know, I was so mad, you know. But yeah, I guess that's what she's talking about, the little wrestling match.
Wow,
that's crazy.
But you did it, right? That's the important part. You did it.
Oh yeah,
wow,
that was a fun experience.
It's good that you had your background, though. You know what I mean, with the holes and stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, screaming for help, like, "Hey guys, like,
what's up,
help
Anthony?
me in here." Hi, Anthony.
Yeah. Uh-oh. It's good to have some type of background like that so you can protect yourself. You know.
Oh yeah.
Even though he made me bail money.
Yeah, because even though he try to calm people down, you know, I mean, even though you're just there to investigate, you just don't know how some people are. I mean, we've had where, you know, family would call us, but the person who is in trouble is the one that is being irate, and he just, you know, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna cut myself, I'm gonna hurt you guys. So, you know, you gotta have some, I believe you gotta have some type of or some form of it.
Hey, Stuart.
Now, Jordyn assists you and works with you on these cases. Am I right?
Yes. Yeah.
That's awesome.
All the time. Yeah, she is there 100%. You know, even when she doesn't want to be.
That's awesome, though.
Like thrown into it. Huh?
Yeah, I mean,
that's really good.
Yeah, it's been a lot for her to take on, simply because the amount of cases that we got. So like when we first got together, I was already averaging around 40 to 50 cases, maybe around that, maybe 60 at the most. But then there was like a little spurt in there where it was our second year together, right? Our second year together, I think that whole entire year we averaged, we actually got a total of 120 cases, that we did the entire year.
Ooh.
So when you're comparing her experience to somebody else's experience, it's not really in comparison, because a lot of the stuff that she has seen and felt and done and just kind of been through it. I mean, geez, 120 cases in 1 year, and I think she's seen a lot of different types of just people, spirits, energies, you name it. It's been like that, and ever since then, we've taken on close to 60 cases, and we averaged close to 60 cases ever since then. But this past year, we just decided to take a break from it and really try to focus on the cases that really need us to be. We've gone all the way to like Houston or something like that, and the people or the clients are just saying, hey, there's something really bad here, all this other stuff. And when we get there, it's something that they're manifesting, because whatever they have gone through or whatever they're going through, is causing the trouble. So going in there, talking to them person to person, and really sit there and figure out, what caused the trauma, what caused all this, is something that they just really needed to discuss with somebody, somebody who actually has been through that kind of stuff, and unfortunately, I had myself I had a lot of stuff done to me, growing up, and same thing with Jordyn. And, so we can really be heart to heart with them and actually know where they're coming from, so that's all. Sometimes it's just, people just need to talk to somebody, and that's all they need, so, but I at the same time, it hurts us a little bit, because going all the way over there to Houston and all this other stuff, and it's something that can be done with a phone call, but there's nothing like talking to somebody person to person, and I truly understand that, but this year we're getting married. She was going back to school. I'm going back to school. There's a whole lot of different changes coming up. We closed on our house, and we're repairing the house at the same time.
Oh, wow.
Be safe, right?
It's been a busy year, so we kind of decided.
Well, congratulations on everything.
I appreciate
it.
Yeah. So this year we just decided to really focus on the cases that really need our attention. So I don't like saying no to any case. That's just me. But I mean,
trying to put priority cases up.
And for me, if any case involves children, then
it's definite.
Yeah, for me it's automatic, because we've seen our share of what those things can do to children alone. So, and I don't want them to grow up thinking that nobody helped me or nobody understood me. My parents couldn't help me or anything like that. So, we're there for them.
Now, do all cases, they have to be done in person?
I would say no, but I'm the type that is very hands-on. I just feel better if I'm there, because I'm able to read the energy that's there. I'm able to read the people that I'm there, as we're interviewing them, seeing their mannerisms, seeing just, we kind of read the entire book just by sitting person to person,
Right.
That's just how we operate. I mean,
most
of the time, go ahead.
Only because not too long ago I had I used to do cold cases. I mean, I'll still do them, but now it's like pick and choose because of what happened, like 2 things in a row, and it wasn't good.
Yeah.
I ended up not too long ago, and I mean, this is your show. I'm sorry. That's why I'm asking. This guy ended up in my house, and it was from one of the cases. and he said he was going to put me in the hospital.
Yeah.
He was going to do worse to me than he did to her. And he was cussing and swear, like the whole 9 yards. It was bad.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, you're out of here. And I tried with the Palo Santo and doing everything to try to get rid of him. I can't use sage, which I think Palo Santo's stronger.
Yeah.
And I didn't have no dragon's blood, nothing like that. That's all I had.
Okay.
Because these fire alarms are electric, so I can't take them down. And when I light certain things, it sets them off. But anyway, long story short, yeah. So when he came, I happened to be on a show.
Okay.
And he's screaming, yelling, gonna put me in the hospital. He's gonna do worse to me than he did to her, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
And I said, no, you're gonna go. He said, too late, bitch, I'm here. And I could see the dark shadow, the whole 9 yards. My candle was going like this high, very red, like this much. Like you could feel the energy, like it was like overwhelming. It was nuts. Well, that's why I was asking.
No,
Because I ended up having to ask another girl. Like she jumps to locations. She has abilities. So she jumps to locations and she helped me. But I was just asking you, like, if you did that, like, say I had to call you, say, John, I really need your help. This is what's going on.
Yeah.
Are you able to get rid of spirits like that?
I've never tried. You know, I have a while back been part of like a phone call, you know, where that involved a couple of other people, and we just said prayers over the phone and stuff like that, you know, with strength in numbers type of thing. But I've never really I really never had to do anything remotely or anything like that. I've been
that's what I needed.
Yeah, I've been asked to, but I just don't trust it very much, you know.
Yeah,
because
you don't think it's strong enough.
I really like to just put myself in the environment, so to speak, and just see what's going on ground zero. You know, that's just how I operate for myself, you know. But once I am there, it's pretty much like anything and everything will try to talk to me or maybe disguise itself and do other things, you know. But I really like to just be in the middle of all of it.
Now, I know Jordyn don't want to talk, and I'm not asking it to, but like something like that, and you say you were able to come, like it's all over and everything, thank God. How does she work with you with that?
So what we do as far as investigations go, we pretty much, I don't know, it's like we're separate, but at the same time we're together, so to speak, if you know what I mean. So like, we have what we do is pretty much when we walk into a case, we both have notebooks, we both have a camera, we both have recorders. So that way I start on one end of the house, she may start on the other end of the house. And we just kind of work ourselves in the middle, and then once we cross, we go to the other side. Once we do that, we talk to the client, and we don't even talk to each other at all as we're doing this. So when we get to the client, we sit there and discuss what I found compared to what she found. And most of the time, I would say like a high percentage of the time, we actually hit and feel the same things, but it comes to us in different ways, you know. So, you know, I may feel what's going on, and then she may see what's going on, but it's remotely almost the same thing. So she's able to see more actually like how we're seeing each other. I don't really see that. Don't feel that. I mean, I really don't see them like that. every once in a while I will get a glimpse of what they see, what they look like, but it takes, I don't know, that's only if they want me to see them.
Yeah.
She sees them, as plain as day.
So you guys go your separate ways, meet up.
Yeah.
You get the same, but in a different way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So I mean, it's I don't know. I mean, it's just something that it just kind of worked with us. I worked with other people before in the past, and it's like this person, that person became more of like, or those people became more of a distraction because of how their energies were and how their way of thinking and investigating was compared to mine.
Yeah,
it wasn't clicking. For a while there, I was my own team pretty much. I would do cases on my own. I would just go all over the place alone. That was just me because I couldn't find anybody to really work with because it just seemed like
wasn't a fit.
What's going on here it's not working at all. I'd rather just do it on my own. With Jordyn, it came very, very easy. It was
fit like a glove.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, every once in a while we do have, we'll hit totally two different things and all this at the same time, but the abilities part, my abilities vibe on the lower vibrational stuff, so the darker stuff I will actually feel, sense, and hear more clearly than anything else. I mean, everything else I really, just okay, cool. I will get the whole feelings of what's going on. I do get all that, but when something darker comes along, it is literally like hitting me, easily. And with that energy, I'm able to really, really get a sense of what it's trying to do and who it's trying to do with what it's planning to do. I mean, how is it going to do it? It's almost like it's almost like they're telling me stuff without really telling me anything, and they really don't want me to know. So
yeah,
it's different in that sense. Her on the other side, she has a lot of the clairs, but she has them in a different way than I do. So it's like, we're like complete opposites, but at the same time, we're literally on the same page. So it works well.
That's good.
Thanks, Ray. Thanks a lot, man.
Because you're getting both the same thing. It's like validation.
Go alone, but he's not getting off the chat.
Because it's like validation with the both of you. You know what I mean? So it's not just you. Now you got her. And when you come together at the end and you talk to the client, it's just like validation.
Yeah.
And I think that's great.
Yeah, and on top of that, the reason why we have cameras, it's not for evidence. It's to show them that we are not cold reading. We're not doing anything else. We're literally sitting in the dark, sitting on the couch, sitting on the bed, just writing whatever's coming to us, So, and then we do have our recorders just in case something is trying to speak while we're, because I'm in the room and I'm literally talking out loud. If I have a question, I'm going to ask. I'm just going. So if you pick up on something on the EVP or whatever, I mean, cool. I'm trying. There's been a couple of times, where she hasn't pushed record or anything like that, and I'm like, oh, you didn't do that, But I like to go in there and just start and just and not worry about any of the equipment or anything like that, and just go on from there, But it's always a good validation when we actually get to the client and actually tell them, hey, this is what we both picked up. And I always tell them our little speech is, okay, what we pick up on may not be from you, may not be from your kids. It could be from the land. It could be from the previous residents. It could have been whatever been here before you, but whatever was here is speaking to us, So, and I tell them, you can call us out in our bullshit if you think we're bullshitting or just kind of just like, no, that's not even true at all. I'm like, you can just say it. Just say, hey, I don't think this is right. I don't think this is, So none of that has happened. So
Yeah.
Well, do you have like a criteria or like, like I know you mentioned like when you go in, you literally talk to the clients and all that kind of stuff. Like, did you just learn over time, like what questions to ask and what to look for from there? Or is there like a checklist?
Yeah, well, I mean, we there's for each client that everybody is different.
Thank you, Michael.
Everybody is very different. Each case is very different. Even though they are all experiencing the same things almost. I mean, it's almost like, okay, voices, shadow figures, little things here, touching people. Okay, that's pretty much a basic checklist. For
Right.
Yeah.
But when we go in, it could be, hey, the person is getting touched, but they're getting touched in private places, or they're doing things that's instead of saying, hey, it's John, or hey, John, or whatever it is, they may be hearing, go kill yourself, go do this, go do that.
Oh.
We actually we kind of do have a checklist, but at the same time, it's like, okay, this case is a little bit different from the other one because there's more stuff there trying to actually influence them to hurt themselves, as opposed to like, hey, I'm here, can you see me? So
Right.
there's different things that we need to actually, and we have our own little personal checklist as well that we look at when we go into a place to really see what was going on. I mean, it could be just this, like the smallest thing, having a little cross in my hand, just putting it, in my hand here and just walking in with it. And if that person is just eyeballing my left hand and doesn't even know what's there when I first walk in, okay, well, that's my first sign. So
Wow.
So there's a lot of little tricks that we do. Yeah, there's a lot of little tricks that we do to really see, okay, yeah, here's what we need to do, but then kind of go off, okay, this is A1, this is A2, this is A3.
Yeah.
From A3. So it like I said, it's all very different, and all the people are very different too. So
that must be scary though, like going into a place where the spirits are telling these people to hurt themselves,
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I had a case about 2 years ago. No, probably like 3 or 4 years ago, where I lost a client to suicide. Whatever,
Oh.
whatever was there was just, it would just not leave him alone. I mean, we went through a whole exorcism with him. Another priest prayed over him, and then we went back a second time and prayed over him again and blessed his home and all this other stuff. But whatever he was doing, and we all know, once we go out there and actually try to sage and try to do whatever it is and cleanse the area, if that person is not closing up to whatever, it doesn't stop listening to whatever's going on, and they continue to like engage with it, it's not going to get any better.
So
Yeah.
it's like inviting it back in, correct?
And he
Yeah.
kept on inviting it back in, and then he tried to get confrontational with it, and he invited it into his apartment to go one-on-one, and then
What?
he had no family here. And then like the weirdest thing is that his mom has messaged me, and the weird thing is, like, I knew his mom, but I didn't know him. So me and his mom were kind of like off and on friends for a while there, and then just lost track of each other. And then she had messaged me out of the blue and was like, hey, do you know this person, blah 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 blah. And I was like, yeah, I know this person. And I was like, why? And she was like, well, he's my son. And I was like, oh, I did not know that. And I was like, well, I hope everything is fine. He's like, well, he moved back home, and he was only there for about a week and a half or something like that. And he eventually committed suicide. Like he went, something was just driving him crazy. And he would say he would hear stuff, and then he just drove to the woods, and right then and there. I mean, he basically told everybody that he just went to go get some food, and then they couldn't find him. And then the next day they found him in the woods.
How old was he?
Oh, 20, 26, 27, something like that.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean,
it's sad.
It's very yeah. Those type of things can really weigh down on you, and that kind of made me second guess, if I was doing things right, because I don't know. I mean, we're here to help people, and when you can't, and you find out something like that, it's just, man.
You're doing things right. I mean,
Mhm.
you guys are doing things right.
Yeah.
But you know how things hide,
Oh yeah.
and you know how people can manifest it back.
Hmm.
That's not you.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean,
So, but
it's
I know it must be hard.
yeah. It was. I mean, for a while there, I was just like, no, I don't know if I want to continue this or anything like that. So I was just like, man, I don't even know, But just talking to friends and stuff like that, and other fellow people was just, telling me like, hey, this type of stuff happens, and I'm like, okay, well, eventually,
Yeah, it has nothing to do with you.
yeah, yeah. I mean, even right now, it's just a little bothersome to talk about it, but it's something
Yeah.
that you have to really put in the lesson learned book and just go from there.
Yeah.
Mm. That'd be rough.
Oh yeah.
So how many cases do you get, like where the client itself is causing it? Like what kind of questions do you ask them to get to that point?
It's kind of hard, especially for me being the person who answers the calls and then trying to go out there and not know so much about the clients at all, So I pretty much just ask them, hey, is there? I mean, they pretty much will tell me, give me the phone call. Is it John? Yeah. I tell them, okay, well, tell me what's going on. I'm going to give you a little bit of what the questions that I need to know, and we'll go from there. And it's pretty much like basic stuff, the shadows, voices, stuff like that. And I'll tell them without going into too much detail, just let me know what if any of that is what's going on. And yeah, all that is going on. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. And we'll give it a what's the rate on it? Or is anybody in danger of their life? Is anybody feeling like they're having medical issues out of nowhere? That kind of stuff. Things that I'm just like looking for that would give it a big red flag, as opposed to like, okay, well, your coffee mug is just moving. Okay. So like,
Right.
I'm worried about your coffee mug. I'm worried about if your son is having nightmares, is your son or your daughter having bruises? Are you yourself having bruises, scratches, just medical symptoms out of nowhere? You feel like your life is getting drained, that type of stuff is what I'm looking for. So I don't really try to ask anything that I want to know when I go into the house, as far as like, oh, the living room is where I see everything.
Because you like to go in cold.
Yeah, pretty
you don't
much.
want to know. You want to know certain things, but not everything, because you want to go cold.
And
you and Jordyn.
Yeah, and that's the hard part too for me getting the phone calls. But the thing is, I don't tell Jordyn or anything. I just pretty much say, hey, we're going to Round Rock. Okay. And we get there and she's like, okay, we're here. And I'm like, yeah, okay, well, I'll tell you later. That's all I That's all I tell her. But I mean, for me, I try to stay as away from
as you can.
details, yeah, from the details as far away as I can from it. So
Mm-hmm.
a little bit hard. I've done it for a while, so it's easy.
Right.
Yeah, because some clients or people that you talk to, it's like they say too much, and it's like, no, only tell me what I ask. Don't tell me no more.
Yeah, I even get that from actual investigators where they invite us somewhere, and they'll literally tell me, I'm like, and I'm like, I don't want to know what is going on. And they're like, well, how can you do anything about the history? I'm like, I'm not worried about the history. I'm not worried about the history. I just want to go in, figure it out for myself, and if what I figure out is matching up with the history after I do the investigation, then cool. So
that's validation.
Yeah, that's validation. So
yep.
There's a lot of investigators who just like, hey, check my video out, and I'm like, does it say anything about the history? Because I don't want to know. I'll fast forward through everything, and watch little faces to it. But yeah,
I know a lot of people that when they go investigate and they do certain things, or they want to know all the history, research it, and then I like to go clean.
Yeah, I just like
when I do mine.
I just like to jump in it and just like, I'm not worried about anything else. I just want to see for myself. just want to see.
Yeah, do you remember that case you guys had in I don't know, was that in San Antonio, Kimmy?
What
When
case?
everybody in Texas, I think it was Sydney and Pete and everybody asked me, "Oh, Donna, can you channel into this case with
Oh,
the pregnant girl
yeah.
and that guy?" Do you remember that case, John? It was a pregnant girl and a guy, and she was supposed to be induced the next day. It was in Texas. It wasn't too long ago. And then there was nothing out about him. So they said, Donna, can you check this out? So I said, sure. I needed a picture, of course, because I look at their eyes. Now I don't look at eyes. I don't know. I must have moved up again. Anyway,
Moving on up, like
so I did. And I got all this stuff and I wrote it in the chat, like everything that I got.
Yeah.
I only did it for like 20 minutes. I worked on it. And all of a sudden, I don't know how much longer, but the police report came out.
Mm-hmm.
And they found him exactly where I said. And it was behind this apartment building. I saw the fence. There was woods behind it and all that. I don't know if you remember that case.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. And I felt how they got shot.
About that.
Yeah, he don't.
Yeah, they both got. Well, the news. I didn't know if he saw it, but they both got shot in the head, which I felt because I feel what they feel.
Yeah.
And they got it. And how do they call that? Assassination. Execution style. That's it.
Mm.
But yeah, it was crazy. And it came out, I don't know how much longer, and they put it up, the video with the cops, and it was nuts.
Mm-hmm.
I never heard of it.
Yeah. But anyway, so, go ahead, Kim.
Oh, your storm chase. I really want to talk about your storm chase.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been, I'm, the team that I'm with right now are South Central Storm Chasers, and I'm with Bell County severe weather here in the Bell County area. So I've been doing that now for 12 years, 13 years, something like that. Probably a tad little bit more. Yeah, but have a few crazy stories about that. You know, almost literally the first time.
How does it work? How does it work? Like,
so the way that we do our thing, the way I chase is I work with my little radar app that I have on my phone, and just pretty much talk with our lead, and we have a whole network of people on our team. So everybody who's just spotters, everybody who are chasers, people who are just looking at radars all day. Then we have our team leads who are just pretty much posting on social media what's going on in real time. You know, so the chasers like myself and the spotters like myself, we're pretty much out there physically looking at the sky, chasing whatever's coming down, we're chasing it. You know, so that's pretty much how it goes. And if I see something that needs to be, you know, put up, or we see something that's going on, you know, either a tornado forming or whatever it may be, lightning, severe lightning, hailstorm, whatever it may be, we're literally just reporting it right then and there. You know, so that way, you know, I'm in this area where Temple's at, so we pretty much go from, I want to say, down to Gerald all the way up to probably Waco, Killeen, and down towards Rockdale and Cameron. You know, so we have that big Central Texas area. So, I'll chase there, but it's rare that I'll go like I used to. I used to travel all the way to New Mexico and Oklahoma, you know, just
wow.
But yeah, you know, I mean, sometimes we'll chase all day long and prepare ourselves.
You chase tornadoes? Mm-hmm. Like, if tornadoes coming, you literally chase them?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That's dangerous.
Yeah, it can be. So like when was this? 2 years ago, right? 2 years ago when you went with me in over there? Yeah. So 2 years ago we were chasing the one
Jordyn goes too?
yeah, she just started going.
I would too. It'd be fun.
So like the one of the very first times that I took her, it was the one. Now, Kimmy, I don't know if you know, you're in Texas, right? Or no?
I'm in Alabama.
Oh, Alabama. Okay, well, you probably won't. Well, you may have seen about that commercial where that tornado flips that red truck.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so that was the one that we were chasing. So it was coming through in Round Rock, and it was as it was coming up, we were going back down to kind of catch it. And so I took a back road so I can cut in front of it and go around. Well, this thing decided to take a turn and then come towards us. And I was like,
oh God.
I did a U-turn and I was going back the other way. So as I was going back the other way, it decided to come towards us and literally were like literally next to us, right next to us. And this thing was like severely rain wrapped. And I could not see the tornado even if I tried. But the light poles were like swaying like this. And Jordyn was like, is that supposed to do that? I was literally trying to remain calm because I already knew like, okay, we're literally in the danger zone like right now. And we were chasing in my little 4-door car. You know, it was nothing heavy.
Wow.
So if we would have gotten hit, we would have gotten tossed, you know. So I was just trying to remain calm, and I couldn't see anything driving, and the roads were literally curved like this. So it wasn't a straightaway. So I actually had to see where I was going, and I was literally just trying to remain calm and get those roads. And by the time we actually hit town, we just literally seen that whole thing just brush up against us. You know, and I was like, okay, now I can tell you
right.
Right there.
Oh my God.
No,
and Jordyn goes with you. This like blows my mind. You guys are a match made in heaven. Let me tell you. She goes with you on all this crazy stuff.
If y'all can storm that together, y'all gonna be together for a while, long
time. Yeah. I mean, on these investigations and storm chasing.
My God. We do everything together pretty much.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
how many couples do you get like that?
Not very many. Not very many.
My
mom and dad were one of those couples who did everything. It was weird because like my mom got into beading, doing like little beads, and then all of a sudden my dad liked it, and then he started beading. A boxer, tough type of guy, and he's over there making necklaces. Gardening, and then my dad liked gardening, so he started gardening with her. And then they both decided to, I think one year they decided to do like wedding cakes. So they both were doing like wedding cakes. I mean,
wow.
A CD music store together. They opened up a barbecue place together. I mean, yeah, they did everything together. So
wow.
Did you have something happen to you in a storm, and that's what got you into storm chasing, or was it just because?
It's just because. I mean, the one that hit Gerald, the Walking Death one, that's the one that kind of really got me into it, you know. And I don't know. One day I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it, and then went ahead and did it. Then met up with some people like Steven and Kevin Ramirez, who are twin brothers here, and they're head of the teams here, and decided to go out with them. And then I was just like, that first day I was like hooked on it, and I was like, yep, this is what I'm gonna do. So we've had our car lifted, we had our car tossed, seen crazy lightning, seen crazy tornadoes. I've seen, unfortunately, I've also seen the other side of what weather can do, you know, to people and stuff like that. And, you know, and when you witness something like that firsthand, and you're just, what a tornado can do to a human body, and it's literally sitting. It's like, okay,
take out one house and leave yours sitting.
Yeah, I lived in Oklahoma for a couple of years, and when those sirens go off,
It gives me
I'm in
chills.
Massachusetts.
It gives me a rush
Yeah.
when I hear it.
Well, I'm a Massachusetts girl, so
Oh yeah,
when I lived there for 2 years, oh my God.
yeah.
And I felt bad for my kids because when I moved there, the youngest was only 10 months. When I came back, he was 2
Hmm.
and 2.5, something like that. And I'll tell you, I felt so bad. The movers moved us in,
Hmm.
and my family's there and everything. They ain't seen us in a couple of years,
Yeah.
and the kids. All of a sudden, all these sirens go by, and fire engines go by, and my poor 2 kids, they're only 17 months apart,
Yeah.
and they're used to the other house. They know to run to the bathroom.
Hmm.
They always say the bathroom is the safest place.
Yeah.
Or my neighbor told me if I'm ever alone, go there, with them.
Yeah.
So anyway, my poor kids were running around, grabbing on my leg like they didn't know what to do. We're in a new house. Like, they really thought it was sirens like out there because we just moved back the night before.
I got you.
And they're like, and my family started, not all of them, but some started laughing, like my sister, her friends. And I'm like, I kind of got upset. And I was like, whoa, don't laugh at my kids.
Yeah.
I mean, they're in a panic because you got to remember tornadoes, they lived through quite a few.
Oh yeah.
They're panicking, the poor things. Their hearts, like if you put your hand on their chest, it was beating so fast. Like I felt so bad.
Yeah.
And I had to calm them down and show them it was fire trucks.
I mean, yeah, we've had a lot of close calls, but man, when I hear those sirens, it gets me going. It doesn't really get me to
Pumps
stop.
you up a different way.
Yeah, I've left. There's been a couple of jobs where I clocked in and I knew there was like severe weather, and I literally walked outside, heard the sirens, went back into work, clocked out, and just took off. It's like when I'm hearing it, I'm like, oh, I'm out. I'm going. Sorry.
Gotta go. Weatherman's gotta go.
Apples.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, we've had our fair share of them.
I know you can't talk about cases, but
I mean, I can, but I just won't give too much. I won't give a whole lot of detail.
No. But what would have been out of all your cases, what would have been your worst that you've ever done?
The worst I have ever done or would have been, man.
I know there's probably a lot of bad ones.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think of one specifically. You know what? I would have to say the Wisconsin case that I took on, and the only reason why I'm going to say that is not for the well-being of the client, but for myself. Simply because without that case, I don't think I would have been on the path that I would be on now. So I probably would have been doing something completely different, or I don't even know. But that case, I mean, kind of set off everything that is happening right now. You know, for me meeting the people that I'm meeting, for me helping the people that I'm helping, for my faith to be where it is. I mean, everything literally was due to that case in general. And if I didn't take it, or I would have said, nah, I don't want to do that, I don't think I would have. I don't think I would be the person who I am right now, you know. And the reason why I say that is because that case came to me, like I started getting visions and started getting the weird call to be ready like a year before I got the case, before I even knew it existed. You know, so year I was getting visions of like a path and it was split off, and I would always get that. I was always seeing that, and I always got the weird feeling to like, be ready. You got to be ready. You got to be ready. Be ready for what? I don't know. I mean, but this thing was just telling me, read the Bible passages, read this, read that, read specific ones. And I would just read them and just get to know them and all this other stuff. And didn't even know why. Didn't know why. I got a call.
Wow.
I got a call from an ex-teammate of mine. And she said, hey, this guy needs help. And he's from College Station. And he wants somebody to go with him to Wisconsin. And I was like, okay, well, what's going on? And she would tell me, well, the family is experiencing something demonic in the house. And there's a lot of things going on. From the daughters are trying to commit suicide. They're at the point where they're locking up in the safe all the knives, all the forks, anything and everything you can stab yourself with or do anything with. They literally would put it inside the safe at night and just lock it up. You know, it
Wow.
to the point to where some of the daughters, I mean, one of the daughters was drinking gasoline to kill herself. I mean, this thing was pretty much influencing this family in every which way it could. And we got up there to Wisconsin, and literally the 2 days, the day before we were supposed to get to the family's house, the person that I was with, all of a sudden I started getting weird feelings about him. Like there was something negative that was on him already. And I was messaging my friend at the time, and I was like, dude, it literally feels like I'm getting set up. Like whatever's going on, it feels like everything is watching me, and it feels like I'm literally getting set up. Like I feel like that. Like tomorrow is the day that I meet the family, but for some reason it just feels like everything's against me, and I have no idea why. And then after I started messaging her, I came back inside the room, and I'm literally sitting across this guy, and this weird energy comes into the room, and it's negative, and I feel it as it comes in. And then this guy, he's slouching like this, and he sits up, and he's like, oh, my guardian angel's here. And I'm like, that's not a guardian angel. I was like, I don't know what that is. And I'm not saying this to him, but I'm just like, that is not what you think it is. And so, okay, whatever. The next day we drive up. Now we're in Wisconsin, and it's around the time when it's snowing. So we're up in the mountains, like in the mountains, literally about 2 or 3 hours away from anything. And we're just driving up, and we finally get there. And when we get there, the family introduces themselves, and they all kind of line up in a row, and you could see all the black circles around each one of their eyes. And they would not, every time they would introduce themselves, they would just step forward and then would not keep their eye. They would just keep their eyes on me. Like it doesn't matter where I was going in the room, and if this guy was talking, they were just focusing on me. And I was like, this is just weird.
Wow.
It's weird. So finally they were like, okay, well, there's a room downstairs and there's a room upstairs where you guys can sleep. And I pretty much said, hey, I want the harness room, the one that's most active. That's the room that I want. So that was the one that was in the basement. So they stuck me way in the basement. I was like, okay, cool, I got that one. The other guy slept upstairs. My first night, the couch, it was a couch looking bed type of thing, but it looked like
How many were with you? Just you?
Just me and the other guy. That's it. And there was a family of 7.
Ooh.
That other guy.
Wow.
Yeah, there was a family of 7.
Yeah.
The guy I was with, and then there was like a random person who was asleep in the other bedroom. And yeah, so it was all of them. And then I was the one that just felt like, okay, I'm getting set up here for some freaking reason.
Wow.
That first night, I slept in the basement, and where I slept, it looked like the couch looked like a coffin. It was weird. And so like my first night, I literally felt like something grabbed my ankle and literally just pulled me off of the couch. And I was like, okay, that's the first incident. All right, cool. Waking up 2 o'clock in the morning, started looking at cameras and stuff like that. And I would see like weird shadows just kind of going throughout the house because we already set up cameras already. And so each day it felt like we were just saying a prayer over somebody. You know, every single day, it was like a prayer for somebody, pray over somebody, bless the house, bless this, did that. I mean, it was just constant. And then when we were up in the book area, which is the second floor next to the daughter's room, she didn't want to go to sleep. She wanted to stay up and investigate with us. And I was like, you know what? If your parents are okay with it, then it's fine with us. I mean, we're in your home. Can't really tell you no, go to bed. You know, so you know, her parents said, yeah, it's fine. You know, okay. So we started investigating, and just some weird feelings came about throughout the room, and we went up to the second floor, and we were up in the second floor area, and mind you, all the lights are turned off. So as I'm getting ready to start investigating, if the only light that would come in was like the light from the moon, and it was literally on the back, and it was coming through some of the trees. It wasn't like a full moon where you can see, you know, get the whole light, but just barely to light up a little area. So as we're sitting there, I started seeing like shadows just running all around in circles around us. And I was like, what the hell is this? You know, I'm seeing this, and I'm like, okay, well, there's something going on here. So I put her between me and him. So he's in the back, she's in the middle, and I'm in the front, and I'm facing the staircase. Now, the staircase is probably like from the first floor to the second floor, it's probably like a good 10, 12 feet, you know, in that space. So as I'm sitting there, I see this big figure rise up from the ground, coming up into the stairs. And I'm like, oh, what is this thing? And I'm like, okay, I don't know what's going on. But you could hear the boom, boom. And I'm like, no. Yeah, I'm like, no, this is not right. So I go and I step forward, and I get in the middle of the room, and I kneel down, and I put a line in the middle of the room with my finger, and I just put it down. And I said, you cannot cross this, you know, by the name of Jesus Christ. You cannot come here and all this other stuff. And as I'm kneeling down saying a prayer, I felt two footsteps right in front of me, like heavy ones. And then I just felt the breath, the heat of whatever it was, just breathing on my face. And you can just hear them, you know, on my face. And I am not letting up. And I'm just saying prayer, and finally started to rebuke it. And as I rebuke it, you can just feel the energy just dissipate, and it goes. The next morning, I was just like, I don't know what that was, you know, but okay, you know, I was left there with like, okay, what am I supposed to do now? What am I supposed to do with this? You know,
right.
I know what's going on. So then this was like the day before we were supposed to leave. So the last person that I needed to pray over was the parents. So I started praying over, well, I woke up that morning. When I woke up that morning, I woke up to a bunch of the smell of sage all over the house. And I was like, what in the world? So then I'm like walking around, and I'm looking at the cameras, and the person that I was with, he was already saging the house. And I guess he didn't want to tell me what was going on, but something scared the crap out of him. And he was literally just saging all over. And then he showed me, I guess, a 10-second video of like me walking around. And then as I'm walking around at night, there was this doppelganger that was following me that looked exactly like me, but with a blurred face. And it went down the same hall. And I guess he had seen that, and it scared the crap out of him. So he just decided to sage everything. And I woke up, okay, what's going on? I finally get up there to him, and I'm telling him what's going on. And he's telling me like, yeah, this happened, all this other stuff. But we need to pray over the parents, and you know, they're the last ones. I was like, okay. So I put the father on the couch, and I put the mom on a little stool there, and I set her down so he can hold her while I'm starting to pray. As I start to pray, he's supposed to have my back up. And as she starts to sway back and forth and starts to growl and all this other stuff, I turn around because I'm asking for the holy water. I turn around, and he's not there. He bolted outside and was just outside. He couldn't be around it. Like whatever, something scared him that he just took off outside, left me there and inside. So
whoa,
up, get the holy water, and I'm praying over her, and everything.
You were left on your own?
Huh?
You were left all by yourself.
I was left alone. So I'm taking care of this by myself. I finally, you know, with God's help, we finally got all that off of her. So then it was the father's time. Now the father's time, this guy, this guy was huge. He was big, probably like 6'4", probably 290 or something. He was a big guy. So he sits down. He sits down, and then the wife is like behind him, and she's like, "Well, if he does something, I don't know if I can hold him." Okay, well, I look around and I still can't find the other guy. I know where he went at this time. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I got this one myself too. So I started praying over him, and the same thing. But there was
he growled too.
Yeah, he growled too. But during that prayer, as I put my hands on him, there was like a weird electric kind of thing that happened there when I put my hands on him, and it literally felt like I took away whatever it was, and it went into my body. And I was like, as soon as I was done, I was like, nope, I got to get this out. And I have this thing with trees where I go and I put my hands on these trees, and I just like, just meditate with it, and I'm just exchanging energies, and I'm grounding myself and all that other stuff. And as soon as that was done, my hands were like so hot and they were like numb, and I was just like, okay, I need to like get out. And I immediately just get out of the house, and I'm walking down the driveway, and I see this weird tree in the snow, and the snow is literally like up to my belly, and I'm just like walking. And I'm always in shorts, okay? So like,
oh my god,
just moving the snow, and I finally put my hands on that tree, and I'm just meditating and just transferring energy, and I feel better. And as soon as I feel better, I walk to the road, and I just walk up the hill a little bit, and I turn left. And as soon as I turn left, there's the street with the split roads that I have been seeing for about a year, and I'm like, but for me, it was God telling me like, are you gonna work with me, or you're not gonna work with me?
Yeah.
So like, I was just like, okay, I get it now, and I was like, I'm with you. Went back inside the house, prayed over the rest of everybody else. Didn't have any problems the rest of the time. Came back home, and when I came back home, I was like, the team that I'm with now I can't be around because of the other people that are doing the opposite of what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, this is where I need to be. So, boom.
So the whole time your calling was, he was asking you with me or not?
Yeah.
And that, wow.
Yeah. So
that's amazing.
If I didn't take that case or did what I had to do, I mean, I don't think I would have been here right now. So for me, that would be the most crucial case that I would, have to put, as far as
to see where that calling was that he was trying to show you.
Yeah, because he's not going to be blunt about, hey, this is what you need to do. It's not going to happen like that.
Yeah.
Already, so it's always like,
he's just trying to show you something, and you saw it.
Yeah, and so if you shows you for a split second, if you don't catch it, you don't catch it, and you don't understand it,
you
don't understand it. Okay, cool. So for me, I mean, I don't know. I mean, my dad would tell me like, hey, and literally as I was praying, as I was done with praying over the husband, like I got very emotional, and I didn't know what to do with the energy that was inside. So like, I started tearing up a little bit, and I just needed to go and get rid of this thing. But I at that point, my dad was already passed, but I remember automatically, like when my dad would pray over somebody, he always told me like, when the Spirit of God touches you, it's like your body gets very, 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 very emotional, and you just don't know exactly what to do with it. And so you're crying, you're weeping because all that is inside, and you just don't know what to do with it. So when I was done and I was outside and I'm trying to find a tree, I'm trying to find something to get rid of this thing, that was like the very first thing that came to me. And I was like, okay, I understand that now what you always told me, about this. I really didn't believe it until it actually happened, and then with seeing the road that split off, I mean, that was another thing too. And I was just like, okay, this is why I was meant to come to this specific case, so if if I didn't go, I probably would be doing something completely different.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I would say that one.
That's pretty crazy, like what you just said about that thing going inside you, because there's been a couple people, and one was just recent,
Hmm.
telling me about my gifts. Oh, you don't understand with your gifts. Like, if you took a hold of your gifts, uh, how did she say it, Kim? Like, from my mom's side, from my dad's side, like, you could be so strong. You
Yeah,
could take on, which I don't like to say the word out loud, demons,
yeah,
this, that, the other. And she said, you don't understand.
yeah.
I'm talking, you could even, how did she say that, Kim?
Well, it's what
Put
from
them
what,
in your body and
yeah,
take them out.
yeah. So from what you're talking about, when I said the other side of things, there was a certain person that was trying to groom me for that specific side. So they would tell me like, "Hey, you are very, very, very powerful when it comes to the lower vibrational stuff, with the darker things, the way you communicate with them, the way they talk to you. You know, it's very easy for you to go on that side. You should probably stick to that side. You know, so not
Is
knowing
that
what,
what
yeah,
they
not
were saying to me?
to me, to me,
No, that's what I'm saying was, sounds as like what this girl was trying to say to
yeah.
me.
So that's how they were. So they were telling me like I need to worship. Um, she's starts with an L. I can't remember.
Lilith.
There you go.
Lilith.
Lilith. So she was like, she's the one that's calling to you, but she doesn't really like to call on guys, but for some reason she likes you and all this other stuff. And like for a while there, I was getting nothing but EVPs saying, you know, her name and all this other stuff and come to me
Wow.
and all these other things on EVPs, like straight up EVPs. I would get that. And I'm like, okay, this doesn't make no sense. And then for a while there, I would get demonic names and all this stuff just out of nowhere. And it was literally, they were literally just trying to groom me for that specific reason. And she would always tell me like, hey, you're very powerful. You're very powerful. You open up your gifts, open up your gifts. And I'm like, okay, you know, like, yeah,
Right.
I'm like Darth Vader on this side. Like, yeah, this feels good on this side. But then if it wasn't for that case, you know, I don't know where I would be, you know, as far as that other side is concerned. But I'm glad I'm on this side. I'm very glad on this side.
Yeah.
So
Do you
That's
think
what,
even your dad knew your past and that's why he taught you a lot of
yeah.
that stuff?
what now?
Do you think your dad actually knew your path and that's why he taught you a lot of that stuff?
I don't know. I don't know. If he did, he never tell me because growing up,
He probably wouldn't.
yeah, I mean, because like the weird thing is that me and my brother would grow when we were growing up. We always said that we wanted to be priests. We always wanted to be priests. And
Oh.
the other thing would be like I would tell my mom and my dad that I felt like I was a warrior of God for some reason. You know, I'm God's soldier.
Aw.
I was this. I
Oh,
was.
that's crazy.
I didn't even know back then. That's, you know, where I was going to be at this point. You know, so looking at it now, I'm like, okay, it all makes sense. It all truly does make sense, and I'm not going to turn my back on this part. It's been a little bit of a task for me to even get into the seminary, to get into churches, to even just try to educate myself on that. And I mean, I got into the seminary to actually become an exorcist priest. Unfortunately, things didn't work out because they didn't want me to continue with cases. And at this time, this was the time where I did 120 cases for that year. And I'm not the type of person that's going to leave a family alone. You know, I'm not going to do that. If they need help, I'm going to be there. You know, so that didn't fit with the whole program of the seminary work. And I just felt, okay, you know what? I mean, ultimately they said they had to let me go because of all that. So I was like, okay, well, maybe it's not my time right now for all that, you know, but the feeling of me still needing to be where I'm at now, I mean, it even feels even stronger now. You know, I've already had like another thing just telling me to be ready for something. I don't know what it is.
Oh,
You know?
wow.
So I mean, there's something brewing, and there's something going on, and this time I have Jordyn by my side on this part, but I'm trying to get her to be ready too, because I know from past experience, like if we're if something's already coming to us and approaching us to be ready, it's not going to be an easy thing, so.
You think it's an upgrade, or you think it's a case?
So I know I've seen this before, and I've been dealing with it for a while now too. Like it kind of like you get marked, so to speak, when you're dealing with these specific things already. So with all the time that I have done with this, the other side already knows me specifically. So like on the spirit box it says JohnJohn, F you, all this other stuff.
Wow.
We'll get EVPs out of nowhere, that just say JohnJohn, F this, F that, and all this other stuff. And the last one says, I want your kids and I'll eat your kids and all this. I mean, we're all literally things in the spirit box. I'm like,
oh my God.
As we're dealing with these things, it seems like we're dealing with the bigger ones. And lately, for the past year and a half, we've been getting EVPs that have like Egyptian god names. And I'm talking about things that are like in the bad spirit realm. Nothing that we know of right now as far as demonic names, but stuff when it comes to like Egyptian gods, Sumerian gods. When you're looking up all those names, you're like, I caught that.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't make no damn sense. So dealing with the bigger ones, we're probably headed for that type of thing. So
you mean to help you?
To defend against, like we're fighting against them, so to speak.
Oh.
Yeah, so no, they ain't there.
Like a big spiritual war type of thing.
Yeah,
is what you're saying.
That type of thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're up against us, and we're up against them. And I know that it comes with a price and all that other stuff. That stuff that we deal with, and unfortunately, it's hit our family hard, but. I don't know. I mean, even when we try to stay away from it, it does not stay away. It knows. Yeah. It knows that, hey, this is a rival. He works with God. The light of God it works with him. All this other stuff. The word of God
right.
is, so as long as the word is coming out of my mouth, it's going to be, a battle, So
yeah,
I'm the first one to say, bring it on, but. I chase tornadoes too, so.
Right. Like, oh, I have an attachment. We're driving in a tornado, baby. It's coming out.
Yeah, just like Nancy said, we become a threat now. And that's when I say people who have been doing this for a long time have so-called, they have been marked already, and they already know, like, that's straight up the enemy. That's they don't like us. They don't like us for anything.
That's what I was told when I was doing those other cases. And I was getting bothered by a lot of spirits, but I stopped. And that's when there was two here.
Yeah, sometimes
I stopped for now.
Sometimes in the most easiest places, I mean, just us being there because of what we do, those things don't even like to deal with us. They're just like, nope. Right away.
Not with you. But I think, like, the last one was a real big, brawly guy, looking at me, and it's like, yeah, I'm going to get you.
Yeah.
Put you in the hospital, this, that, the other.
Yeah, the weirdest thing that's happened to me was we used to have a case manager out of Houston, and she would get some calls and all this other stuff and would help us out get with the cases. So, like, this is when I used to work at the college here at UMHB. It was kind of a weird timeline because she was sitting at home in Houston, and she got 3 phone calls. The first one was a phone call that was unknown. She was just like, okay, that's weird. She picked it up. There was just static, nothing but white noise. She didn't hear anything. She was like, okay, that's weird. Okay.
Wow.
There again, she hung up, was watching TV, another same phone call again, unknown, and nothing but white noise again.
White noise.
Yeah, and she was just like, that's so freaking weird. Okay, third one time, another one called. Around 15 minutes later, She picks it up again, unknown caller. This time on the voice, it says, "Stop getting JohnJohn cases or we will possess him." And then it was white noise, and then it hung up on her. Now, around that same time frame, as I'm working at the college, I'm walking through the hall, and as I'm walking through the hall, this big black shadow is following me, but I didn't see it because it was behind me. But my coworker seen it, and she was on the opposite side of the hall, and she said this black figure was just following me down. And it was literally around the same time as she got the phone call as that black shadow was following me, because she called me like maybe 10 minutes right after that, and she was just like, "Hey, I'm gonna tell you something what just happened to me. Like, I got a phone call like 10 minutes ago, and it was white noise, and there was this like weird growly voice on it, and it said, stop getting JohnJohn cases or we will possess him." And I was like, "How long ago was this?" And she was like, 10 minutes ago. And I was like, "What the hell?" Well, my coworker just said that they seen a black shadow following behind me like literally 10 minutes ago. And I was just like, okay. So like,
wow.
That's
a little fucked up.
Somebody told me the same thing you just said.
That's messed up.
Them up there know about us.
Oh yeah.
And somebody just told me the same thing. They know what you do.
Oh yeah. We're being watched. Definitely.
I mean, when she said that to me, I was like, She's like, "Donna, they know what you do." It's like, they know.
Yeah.
That's when I quit. I didn't do no more. Now I pick and choose if I do anymore.
Yeah. Well, I take what we do very seriously, and I don't mind going to like haunted locations and stuff like that. It's funny because we consider that more of a vacation type of thing,
like an amusement park kind of thing compared to what you do.
Yeah, so like every time we go or get asked to go to like a Worley hospital or something like that, we just like, oh, this is going to be fun, because what we do, it's like,
right,
that we're not very jumpy, we're not scared. We've seen, encountered, dealt with crazy things, and a little boom down the hall. I'm like, why don't you just try doing something else? It's like, do something else. I used to stand on the edge of the steps and say, like, just push me with my hands open. It's like, just push me. Let me see what you can do. That's who I used to.
I mean, compared to what you guys are used to, that's like a walk in the park.
Oh yeah. But, yeah.
Wow. I still can't believe that phone call. I mean, I can see what the girl said. They know, but your friend getting a phone call.
There was a couple of cases. Well, not a couple of cases. There was like a string of cases that I was dealing, which I call them the 9 princes. The 9 princes of hell that I was dealing with, and it seemed like every case that I was getting, that person, the client, would say that their name was a certain demon, and it would get to that point to where even before the clients would call me, because they would call Dark Explorers, but they wouldn't know who I was. They didn't know my name. So then when I actually say, "Hey, this is JohnJohn," they would just say like, "Hey, my son has said your name a couple of times, and he said that you can't help him." And I'm like, "I don't know who your son is." And they're like, "Well, we didn't know you existed until right now, but my son has been scribbling your name, has said your name, and he's claiming that he's
because
this demon.
Whatever's there is telling him
that
don't bother calling him because he can't help, but he can't.
Yeah. So with that certain case, I was supposed to schedule something with them, but then when I actually try to send him a text message, if you ever get a text message, a phone call, and it's like, it just comes in as like a 512 or whatever area code it is.
Yeah.
I always like hang up on them, and then I'll text back like, "Hey, what do you need?" Just in case it's somebody. And it always comes back as invalid number because it's an actual spam call or whatever it is. So it's not an actual cell phone. So I'm like, okay, you're just a spam call. So with that certain phone, with that certain client, I mean, I literally talked to them, and all this other stuff is going on. The communication, text messages, everything. We're literally supposed to set up a date, and I sent them a text message, and it came back as invalid. And I was like, what the hell? That's weird. So I call them, no answer, no nothing. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what's going on. I reached out to the other family member that actually was the one that gave them my phone number. Same thing, invalid number. All this other stuff. It was like they just disappeared completely. Like,
nah, something's stopping it. You know that.
oh yeah, I know.
Something's stopping it.
I always tell my clients too, like, okay, once we set a date, we have to keep it no matter what. If you're feeling sick, if you got diarrhea, whatever may be going on, we have to keep the case no matter what. You know?
Right.
Yeah. Yep. Because like now, shit like that, excuse my language, is going to try to stop it. People don't think so, but yeah.
Oh yeah, they will.
Look at your friend with the phone call.
Nancy has a question. What was your worst fake case? Curious as to how far someone would go for attention.
Okay, so remember the wrestling case that I just told you about?
Yeah.
Okay, same guy. Fast forward 2 years. So this person and his wife decided that his wife did not want to be with him anymore. Okay, so the same team called me up and was like, hey, it's the same client. We need your help. I'm like, okay, cool. I drove all the way out there, get there, and I started asking, hey, what's going on? He's like, oh, I think it's that thing all over again. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I think I'm getting possessed now again. And I was like, okay. So took him to the room, started praying, and like he was trying to do, because he already knew the first time what was going on, because we explained to him, hey, you did this and all this other stuff. And okay, this time around, he was literally trying to recreate what happened the first time.
So he didn't remember the first time.
Yeah.
You told him. Okay, gotcha.
Then he tried to recreate it this time. So he's trying to do his hands and eyes and everything like that. And I'm praying over him. And the energy that I felt the first time was not there. And I was just like,
yeah,
oh, this is weird. So I look at him and I'm like, what's going on? And he's like, I'm getting possessed. And I'm like, well, how do you know you're getting possessed, dude? And he's just like, just shaking and all this other stuff. And I'm like, okay. So then like, he's trying to push me now. And I'm like, okay, he's literally trying to start some shit going on. So then I get in his chair and I literally scoot him into the wall. Now, it's gonna sound bad, but you know, anyways, I put him against the wall, and then I put my knee literally into his thigh muscle. Okay, literally, and I put all my weight down, so I know it's gonna hurt him. So I put all my weight down, and he starts. The demon said he's having surgery next week, and you're hurting his knee. And I was like,
no demon's gonna say that shit.
So like, what the dude? I'm like, what the hell? Are you faking this shit and all this other stuff? And he was just like, no, I'm not faking. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm just gonna say, I literally slapped the shit out of him. And I was like, just this, and then he was just like crying. And I was like, dude, what the fuck? Why are you doing this? All this other. And he's like, well, I'm getting. And then he just put his head down. And I'm like, dude, what's going on? And he's like, she's trying to leave me. And I'm like, so your resolve is to like fake getting possessed again, so she can stay with you this time and not say, I'm gonna run and you know I don't want to be with you anymore. I want a divorce. So he literally did and faked all of that, so that way his wife or ex-wife now, well, I think they're still together, but at that time trying to get that sympathy from him, like, hey, don't leave me because I need you to, you know, help me from whatever's going on, you know. And I was just so freaking pissed off, man. So,
Oh yeah.
so mad. So mad.
Mm-mm-mm.
Oh, but yeah.
I would be too.
Well, yeah, that's a little
You
bit.
know,
That demon has concerns about your knee, man.
there's that poster.
Oh,
I
that's
don't know. I
also
see it once in a
acronym.
while on Facebook. Don't lie to an intuitive. Like, you know how we feel the energy. We feel all that. Like, don't lie to an intuitive. Don't.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
knew right off the bat it was fake. You didn't feel like you felt the first time.
yeah, I was just like, yeah, there's something wrong here.
Uh-huh. You can feel the energy. You can feel it.
Oh yeah,
Mm.
Wow, like doing the worm across
Crazy.
the floor.
the worm across the floor.
Like, oh, you're doing the running man, David. You're the running man.
Unreal. I can't believe that. That's crazy. Like she was gonna stay with him for him being possessed again.
It's crazy what they do.
Wow.
I guess
Yeah,
while
I
we
guess so.
wait on the audience's questions. So if y'all have questions, make sure to put them in the chat. But I have one for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so like obviously, like me and Donna, do we do readings with tarot cards and oracle cards, and we're safe. So what we open, we always close.
Yeah.
But like, is that really a safety concern? Is it something that we should be doing, or is there something else that we need to add to it?
I'm not, how you say, the expert when it comes to tarot reading. The only thing that I can just say is just be careful, you know, with what you open, what you bring in, especially when you're talking to other people about it. I mean, what information you can give them can either help them or hurt them, you know. So that's just my take. I mean, the cases that we've had that dealt with tarot cards is because the lack of education for those people.
Oh, so you've had cases because of tarot cards?
Yeah, and it's because the lack of education, because like it's like witchcraft, right? So the lack of education on what there are certain things. There's the witchcraft that can harm people, the witchcraft that can try to hurt people. There's witchcraft that can do any types of other things. So the lack of education on all those is what hurts people the most. You know,
I don't use tarot though. I use oracle.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
just the lack of education for people who are actually using it and don't
Okay.
truly understand what it's meant for. And they're trying to do
Okay.
other things with it and all this other stuff. And like the case that we
Right.
get, it's because of the lack of education on what those people have. You know, they just don't know or truly don't understand what they're bringing in and what they're taking out or anything like that. And they're just like, well, it's just a deck. It's just this or whatever it is. You know, but hey, there's other things that go on with it hand in hand. You really have to educate yourself on all things and not just focus on one thing.
So if we do protection and we call in the higher power, Native American, I call Mother Earth.
Uh-huh.
And then Archangel Michael, all my guides, my guardians, you know, and then only love and light, no negativity allowed.
Yeah.
Then we do it. And we always open with a prayer and close with a prayer.
Yeah, so you're already setting like a standard already, like this has to happen before all that. So yeah, so like most people just don't. They just, I'm just gonna read the cards.
Yeah, they just start reading and that's it. Yeah, we do protection every morning. Our protection is done for the day, every day. Even if we don't do podcasts, we still do it, being Native American. And then doing the cards, we do it again.
Yeah.
And then we ask them to come in, only love and light, no negativity allowed. And then we always open and close with a prayer.
Yeah, I mean, because if you think about it, people with abilities too, it's basically the same
thing.
You know, I mean,
I didn't want to cut you off. And my cards are right here. Like when I take the cards out, right, I'll say, awake, please. And then when I put them away, I say, you know, Session closed. Go to sleep, please.
Right, because this is a form of communication, like a Ouija board.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah.
You know, open, wake, session end, go to sleep.
That's weird. I get like a weird vibe from those cards.
What, these?
Yeah, it feels like a big anchor.
A big what?
Anchor, like a big weight.
Really?
Yeah, and it's like right there for me.
Ah, don't tell me that. I just got these.
Did you say right here?
Yeah.
Because she's been like a lot lately. She's been like
And
trying to
it
clear her
feels
throat.
like something's trying to mute you. It's weird.
My dad don't believe in cards. Native American. He don't believe in cards. He reads, like I used to read eyes are to the soul.
Mm-hmm.
Then I started doing regular readings. Like I don't need the eyes anymore. I just do regular readings on people. You know, when they, like I did Kimmy just recently, Sydney, you know, Sydney.
Yeah.
But he don't believe in cards. You think that's it? I mean, you can see the pillow. You see the fuzziness all around the pillow. Like, my guys are here right now. I got a house full of Native Americans. But you think that might be it? You might not want me reading the cards?
That's just what I got from there. That's all I got. It's like
So you think they're bad?
I mean, I'm not gonna say, I'm just saying that's what I got from them. You know, the only thing that came to me was like, you know, those big anchors from boats. It just looked heavy and something.
Is Jordyn there real quick? Ask her if she could just peek and look and see what she gets. Please. Just so I don't keep using them.
You gotta
see what she gets.
Some food.
Yeah, those are the cards that you got.
Only because I've been using them and I've been spot on.
Like zoom in on her real quick so she can see the cards real good.
Oh yeah, hang on.
Yeah, make me bigger.
I don't know. They do feel heavy. It doesn't seem like it's her. It seems like it's coming from the box.
All right, here's me right here. So it's not me?
No, it doesn't seem like it's you. It seems like so I don't feel a boat anchor, but I feel like there's a chain attached to you from that box. That's what I feel.
What do you mean a chain attached to me, hon?
So, like when you, when attachments first form, that's generally what I see with people. Like it's a bond being built. So it's like something is from those cards are kind of like attaching to your soul, your spirit. And I don't know if it's necessarily good way of manipulation or a bad way of manipulation. I mean, it depends really on how you connect with your cards because everybody's different. But
I was told to sleep with them, to connect my energy with them.
Oh.
I didn't sleep with them under my pillow. They were at my feet, on the table at my feet. I sleep on my couch. And I had them on the end table at my feet.
I don't sleep with my cards.
I was told to put them under my pillow, and I did not do that. I had them at the feet of me.
Maybe that's what the anchor looks like, because if you look at an anchor, it's like slim and then it's your arms. So, and it just felt going down, but the throat was more like it felt like a mute to me, like you're not gonna talk about something, but it just feels like that. I don't know.
Because the readings I've been doing, everybody's like, "Oh my God, you're like spot on, spot on, spot on."
Oh no, it's just shaking.
She's just like.
So, what did she say?
She's just like, no.
I don't know.
Don't do that.
I'm not an expert.
Yeah, she's saying that she's not an expert in tarot cards either, but
I just
no, they're oracle. They're not tarot. I won't read tarot cards. They're oracle.
Yeah, I don't know that much about them, honestly. That's just.
Can you even hear her or not? She just said she doesn't know.
Yeah, I won't read tarot. They're oracle.
Yeah, we just
Tarot is different.
Mhm.
I won't do tarot. These are oracle.
Either way, it's still communication.
True.
Yeah, I'm just going by what I felt and seen, and yeah, same thing.
And I shouldn't use them. No, I'm asking honestly.
Huh?
I said I would suggest.
Jordyn said that she would suggest you cleanse them.
I did. Palo Santo. Do them again.
Huh?
I do.
Yeah.
And maybe not.
She said, I would do it again and maybe not sleep with them.
No, yeah.
No,
Yeah,
she
they're
needs to
gonna
take
go-
her energy out of it and just leave them as regular cards, right?
I feel like I'm just.
All right, so just cleanse them again with Palo Santo, and I'll Palo Santo every card, and there's a lot.
And
I'll even no, I won't sleep in them. I'll keep putting them in the box, but my energy is going to get in them as I read them.
Hang on. What?
So you would want to see if the energy is separated. So from cleansing and then leaving them in a separate place from home for, a night or two to tell if that energy is different.
So she said,
if there's still energy there, it's on the cards. If it's not,
she said
then it's
to
on
do that and not sleep with them because you want to see if the cards are separated from you. So if you put them apart from you after you cleanse them, it would tell you if it's either the cards or it's you. See what I'm saying? So after you cleanse them, to put them in a different place and not put them in the same bed with you. So that
I'll put them.
Yeah. See.
Yeah, I got a wine rack. I'll put them back there. I'll put them in the wine rack.
Yeah.
I'm buffering now.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
For a minute. She's
Oh.
buffering for a minute.
All right, after we finish, I want to see what Jordyn feels behind me because there's energy behind me I've been seeing. See it? I mean, I got my candle here, so that's not helping, but you can see this side of me is all clear. You can see this side of me has been real fuzzy, which my guides are always to this side of me.
Mm-hmm.
And my Black Panther, somebody saw on this side of me, I don't know, not even a week ago.
Sorry,
like
I asked
3-4
that
days
question.
ago. Yeah, right. But anyway, let's keep going with the show.
Did you hear that? She was like, yeah, right. All right, anybody else have any questions?
What time is it?
Almost 10.
Okay.
Yeah. Anybody have any questions? Everybody's probably investigating, and everybody was here.
They're just
And
missing.
I think they went and watched the investigation
Well,
because they were here.
They're not on. I'm probably sure they'll probably ask something, and I'll just kind of see it later to see if there's any comments.
Yeah.
I've been trying to keep up with it.
A lot of people went, like they came in, everybody's going to investigate, and they were here. And it's been Nancy, I think, the most
Nancy
now.
said, so what level were they at with the tarot cards, doing it a lot and calling on spirits, or can the cards call something up by themselves?
So what level were they at? Is she talking about my cases? I'm pretty sure. So like most of these are like cases that are literally just.
She's talking about my cards.
Your cards or the cases?
No, she's talking about her case because she's wanting to know what level were they at.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh. So what level were the case? Is it about the intent, or is it open interpretation? I'm lost.
Mostly about the intent.
Mm-hmm. It's all about
I'm just reading to read for people and give them messages. I keep asking.
No, because Nancy gifted Donna those cards, so
yeah, she
Donna
gifted them
when she got them. So who knows? Maybe.
Nancy gifted me
I
2 decks of cards.
like Brian's question there because we're gonna try to do a small experiment when the eclipse happens.
Thank you, Liz.
That is a good question, but we're gonna see if all the people with abilities go crazy.
Right, you're out there howling at the moon.
Well,
They all naked out on all fours, just howling at the moon.
you know, I've been saying to Kimmy, I don't know what's going on. I know we're going into what is it called again? Retrograde, and we're gonna have the eclipse. We just had a full moon, and I already started acting fun, feeling funny, not acting funny, feeling funny. So
She's howling at moons and growing
I
hair.
hate
Yeah.
when we have retrogrades. I don't like how I feel. I hate it. I can't stand it. It's like I just can't stand it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like how I feel. Didn't you have a case that involved tarot cards though? Oh, you.
Me? Yeah, we actually have a lot of cases that deal with tarot cards. And like I said, it's people who don't have that education, who are dealing with stuff, who are summoning things, whatever it is that what they're doing. And most of the time, they're just like, well, I saw a girl on TikTok was doing it and blah, blah, blah. And okay, well, that's where he went wrong the first time. And then a lot of them are just trying to harm other people. Like I got 2 decks right now that are from cases that they were actually trying to harm another person with the deck and trying to get.
Yeah, you can actually use tarot for spells and shit.
Yeah, so they were
really.
They came back around and bit them. So yeah. Karma works.
Gotta be careful what you do, because it'll come back on you. Donna can do her abilities without the cards. Donna only uses the cards for reading, but Donna can read eyes without the cards. Thank you, Liz.
Nice.
I don't even really read eyes anymore. I don't know. That's why I think I was upgraded again. No, I used to read the iris and then around the eyes. You know what was crazy, John? I said to Kimmy, I look at everybody's eyes. I took the mirror, I looked at my own eyes, and I saw an eagle in each eye, and then I saw Native Americans in each eye, and then in the iris, I saw this book. It was like this, and it had like a glow. And I'm like, what is this book? Like,
it's Donna's book.
It's
Like
something.
Pages of
It was this like, what did she say?
No, I'm not reading it. I think it's the book of Donna. And it's really thick.
No, I think it was Resnick I asked. Resnick. I think it was him that I asked. And I think it has to do with the natives and like the laws and stuff like that. And because I seen this book in my eyes and it was like had a glow around it. Nice. It was what? I mean, I was like, hey, I'm looking at everybody else's eyes. I want to see what's in my eyes. And that's what I saw.
Look into my eyes.
I just didn't know what the book was. I'm like, what is this book? But anyway.
So all the people that are moving into doing tarot and doing readings and going online and doing investigations, etc., are they just asking for trouble and violence? With a lot of the cases, I would say that they're asking for more trouble than doing anything. It's like I said, it's just the lack of education. It's just it's like they're always trying to find shortcuts instead of actually learning about what they want to do. And if you want to do tarot, somebody's just going to go, I'm just going to go all the way to the end and just figure it out from there. instead of just reading about it, learning about it, talking to other people about it.
Yeah, try to,
the pros
instead of just grabbing cards and reading them.
Yeah,
do it the right way.
Yeah, because a lot of people, just like I said, lack of education, they just don't know. They see the pros to everything, but they don't know the cons to everything. And that's where they get bit, is like, oh, I didn't know we could do that. Well, like, you should have, because if you'd done your research, you should have done that already. It's like hello.
Right. It took me a long time before I bought my first.
Yeah.
So, but I did like that research and learned about it. And not if it's your own house, right?
I never investigate anything in my house.
Mm-mm.
Never.
John should go to Nancy's house.
Her house is fun.
What is the biggest?
Her house is what?
Her house is fun.
What is the biggest thing that we always see is people who were teenagers or teenagers themselves try to, well, from what I've seen so far, it's especially down in the South Texas area, I see a lot of people who are trying to do witchcraft on harming people. They'll start putting, like, getting jars and putting screws in there, putting nails, putting whatever it is, and then putting that person's name inside, inside the jars, and then trying to do something to them, and then it comes back and bites them on the butt, because they did something wrong, or something that that person has done a super long time ago, and it was like, I did it when I was 13. I'm 47 now. I'm like, well, you still left that door open, and you still, for other things. So it's always, like I said, it's the lack of education when you're. I mean, I've done my few shares of dumb shit. I know I have, and it's come to bite me back, and I could have been like, I should have learned more a little bit about it, or maybe I shouldn't have done it at all. Maybe I should have listened to my parents. Hey, not to play with that. But we still did, and it still, comes back to get us. But I mean, it's like the lack of education on everything. It's real when it does come back and get you.
Yeah. So I don't want to go by Google to find out the right way to do these cards. I don't believe everything with Google. You know what I'm saying? So how do we find out the right way? If we're doing it the right way already, or what are we supposed to change?
For me, it's looking on Facebook and just going to all these groups. There's groups for every single thing out there. But just trying to find the person that has a lot of knowledge and the biggest thing is if they will be truthful to you about, hey, here's what the pros are, here's what the cons are, and not just be like, oh, it's all pro, it's all good. No, you got to find somebody who is a balance on both, so that way they're able to tell you the good and the bad of doing this.
Tina. I think we should ask Tina.
So
she does cards.
Yeah, so I would always suggest that no matter what, even in the paranormal, I get somebody who will randomly message me, hey, I want to start this and blah 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 blah. I'm like, well, okay, well, first of all, there's a shitload of teams already out there. The prices on locations have gone sky high because it's become a whole thing now, including equipment. Yeah. So there's a lot of cool things out there. More people now have become more about drama than anything else. People are territorial.
So much freaking drama, man.
People are territorial about their locations. It's this is what you're getting into, basically.
Yeah.
And most people are kind of like, I don't really want to do that. Okay.
Now, isn't it true? Like a lot of places lately, you pay so much money to get in, and they don't let you film.
Put it down.
Yeah.
Put it down.
That's because a lot of the locations just want to have people come in and actually pay to come in instead of like, oh, I seen this video. I know what the location is. I'm not trying to go over there. You know, so we have a few locations like that around here who don't want them to do lives, who don't want them to do anything like that. You know, so it's okay for them to film, but they don't want any lives. The live thing is kind of killing everything. You know, I mean, it's, yeah, I understand it's getting views, all that other stuff, and possibly putting money in your pocket, but the locations are becoming more strict about it. They just don't want, they want people to come in and actually go there and not just check it out.
Yeah.
You know, not
Yeah.
even pay for it. So I understand that part. I understand the business aspect of that part. But
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's been like 10 years for the past 10 years. Yeah. It's gotten drum.
yeah, it's even gotten worse because now you're dealing with the keyboard warriors, so to speak.
The trolls.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're untouchable. Yeah, there's a lot of people who think they're untouchable.
And potholes, they can ask for trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Leave the door open. It's okay to shut it. Yeah. What is your take on portals, by the way? It's something I want to know.
Mine, I believe they're very real. I've dealt with some before. You know, I've dealt with some like in the middle of a freaking field, middle of a tree, middle of a doorway, like an actual doorway, house. You know, I've dealt with those before. I believe they're real, 100%.
I mean, is it stuff that people open, or is it something that just happens to pop in and nowhere?
I think it's both. I believe there's both. Because, I mean, if you're dealing with, you know, what are they called? I almost forgot what they're called. Spirits of the earth. What are they? It starts with an E. Man, forgot what.
Elementals?
Yeah, elementals. So if you're dealing with elementals, there's something that's out there as well, how they get in, get out, all this other stuff. So, you know, like I said, I've been on fields where EMF is like going straight off. You know, it's not there, it's not here. It's like literally just right there in the middle of everything. There's nowhere, no anything. It's just a field, and that EMF is just like, you know. So
Right.
I've dealt with those before.
Right. They're trying to get help. People saying that they can't help but are into collect money. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my pet peeve. It's like I've seen it on all these groups that deal with paranormal, and then you'll get people who are genuinely like, hey, I need help and this and this and this. And then you see somebody who goes on there and they're just like, hey, I can help. And they just go in there just to film, and they can't really do anything, but they're conning that client to like, hey, we can do live and all this other stuff, and tell them like, yeah, we're just doing this so people are aware of everything. And then in the end, they're not really helping. You're just getting views, you know. So that's just a pet peeve of mine. Maybe because
that's what I think too. I think like if you're going to take on a case, then go in there and help the person clear their, you know, because like mine that I only been able to do one residential case. And we went there, investigated a little bit, figured out what was going on. And then later on went home, found out the history. But before I left her house, I cleaned from the top to the bottom. I cleansed her house, you know, did all the egg cleansings and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So help people. Don't just, you know.
Yeah, and if you don't know how to help them, then you should just stay away from residentials.
Right.
Yeah.
It's when dealing with residentials, I mean, you're dealing with the people, you're dealing with the environment, you're dealing with the house, you're dealing with the land, you're dealing with children, you're dealing with people's mental problems. I mean, you're dealing with a whole lot of things, not just my door is opening and closing by itself. Okay, well,
yeah.
Okay, well, you're not really helping by doing that. You're just, you're kind of trying to see maybe, like, yeah, that's true that your door is opening and closing, but you're not really helping them at that point. You know, it's
like way back, I asked for help here, and this guy was going to help, but they wanted to come in and investigate. And I'm like, no, 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 no. Nobody's coming in here and investigate, leave me with a worse mess, and you maybe come back. Maybe you don't. Then you just leave me with a worse mess.
Yeah.
And then finally, I got a hold of this lady, and she took care of it like that.
Yeah.
Over the phone. And she took care of it like that.
Yeah. And I believe that some people have that gift where they can do stuff like that. You know, and I even say it with priests. Yeah, there's just because they're priests doesn't mean that they actually have the power to get rid of certain things. You know, I don't know what it is, but some people do have that, and then some people just don't have that.
Right.
Yeah. This guy, I think, they just wanted to use my house just to investigate. No. You're gonna stir things up and leave me with a mess. No.
Right.
Yeah, and I agree with that. A lot of the residential seem to be on the mental side of things, drugs and whatnot. But the thing is, when you're actually looking at those cases closely, you have to see why they got the way they are instead of just saying, well, this person, there's something wrong mentally, or this person's on drugs. You got to figure out what led them to get to that place. That's where the whole research, that's where the investigation really starts. That's where the whole separation of actual residentials versus something else, comes into play. You really have to really get into it with that person. And sometimes people's personalities are just like, don't allow that client to open up to them. Unfortunately enough, I have that personality, and Jordyn has that type of personality to where it lets those clients just open up to us, and they literally just tell us everything, so.
Well, I was new to the house. So all I know is when I moved in, I felt the energy.
Mm-hmm.
And I already knew.
Yeah.
I wouldn't sleep in my bedroom. Like, I just couldn't even go in there. It was like walking into a room where you couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
The rest of the house wasn't like that. It was just my room.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just crazy. But as time went on, I met other people. And come to find out, it's not my house. I mean, there was something here, got rid of it, but it's the property.
Yeah.
And it was not this house. This house is only 16 years old. It's new.
Yeah.
It was 5 houses ago. And it's the property that's bad. So there's nothing we can do about the property. Yeah. And I don't own the house.
And you're
right, put
there's a funeral home right down the road from you, and there's a graveyard.
Yeah. With me with abilities the way I got them, we got a funeral parlor. I got a cemetery. Like, not a good place for me.
It's almost like when we get calls from Austin, and it's these newly built apartments and all this other stuff. I know that it's the land. I know it's the land because of where it's built at.
Yeah.
We get calls and like, can you bless my apartment and all this other stuff? Yeah, we can. But I can tell you right now, it's not going to work because what's going on is the land itself. I'm like, unless you want me to cleanse all 100 and something odd apartments, it's not anything plus the land, so it's just residual what's going on here. There's
I think it's more than just our land. I think it goes further. Like just what was that 2 days ago, Kimmy? We had 2 shootings in one day, only 3 houses up. One like early afternoon, 10 o'clock that night, and even more towards the night. Like, and this is a good area. Mm-hmm. But then again, there's summertimes coming, and people from the top are coming down our street.
Yeah.
So. Oh, and the breaking in the cars.
I personally don't think portals are real. Just haven't seen anything, and blah blah blah. Yeah, I mean,
Portals ain't real.
yeah,
Who said that?
Memphis Ghost Hunters. Well, to me, I mean, it depends on where you're investigating, what your type of cases you're investigating. Now, he did say he came from residentials too, but I mean, I know a lady who teaches paranormal, and she's never seen anything paranormal before. So, I mean,
Portals are real, let me tell you, because I had them in my house, and I was thrown all over my kitchen and almost broke my back. I was thrown by something from the portal.
yeah,
So portals are real.
yeah. I mean, I've seen all kinds of crazy stuff, and I even heard about cryptids and try to investigate some of those. I mean, I can only really do so much because now I got Jordyn. She doesn't really like to go into the swampy areas to go.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
swamp ain't for her.
Yeah, I mean, there was a time where I think it was 2 years ago before I met Jordyn, or 3 years before I met Jordyn, that I was looking for the crying lady, and I was literally
La Llorona.
yeah, La Llorona.
That one.
I literally walked into the river and just planted myself there, and I was just like, "Hey, come on, come get me." I'm in the dark inside this little river, and I can't see nothing. Granted, I heard some weird stuff all around me, but I mean, I'm really gonna have to really check that out because that's
Right. Yeah, because a lot of times coyotes sound like screaming women. So
He reminds me so much of Anthony. Oh my God.
I think we're on different things when it comes to that.
No, I mean, no fear.
Yeah.
Like, it's, you guys have no fear.
what's your favorite cryptid?
Mine, oh my gosh, Wendigo. I want to see what that is, along with the Skinwalker. So that would be Wendigo, Skinwalker, probably.
Ooh, don't say that word. Don't say that word. Don't say that word. I got a house full.
Well, that's the one of those are the ones.
Shapeshifter. Shapeshifters.
Those are the ones that are really. I'm as of right now, I am slowly massaging a case that may deal with a Wendigo here in this area.
Oh
So,
wow!
I-
So
What's a
explain
Wendigo?
to what's a Wendigo? Like I mean, I've
Yeah.
heard of it, but I don't really like know the logistics
Yeah.
of it.
So-
What's a-
I'm trying not to get them because they're almost the same thing almost. But the Wendigo
Oh,
is
are they?
shifter as well. I believe it's like it can transform into a dog or a bigger dog or something like that. I can't remember exactly.
Oh, okay.
I believe it can. I believe it eats human flesh or something like that. If I'm mistaken. The thing and I think it's also Native American as well. If I'm correct.
Really?
Yeah. So I had to double check on that.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's what I said, Nancy. Like really here in Texas, and actually very close to where I live. But a lot of the things that have been going on these people's property have kind of X'd out everything else, and I'm kind of like, okay, well, is it possible?
You got a lot of natives, though.
Oh, yeah.
Is it
Native.
dog man type of thing,
Oh, yeah,
or
we
is
do.
it just more than dog man?
Yeah, I mean it's our area has a lot of a native in it, but at
Yeah.
the same time, I don't know if you know. I mean, you're not here in Texas, so but like in our area, there's been a lot of people buying up property, tearing down the forest, parts of pieces of the woods, pieces of this, just
Yeah.
apartments there, highways there, all this other stuff, and,
Yeah, that's true.
and it's disturbing all the land or whatever it used to be on.
Yeah.
The so a lot of things are popping up. A lot of things are popping
Yeah.
up. A lot of hauntings
We-
are starting to kick up.
Yeah, we heard that they were knocking down a lot of stuff and rebuilding and stuff. That will kick up a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's, I mean,
Hmm.
it's just there's just a lot going on right now. I mean, including the coming of the eclipse and all that other stuff too. I mean, there's just a bunch of weird stuff just going on.
When's the eclipse going to be again?
I believe on the 8th.
8th, yeah.
Oh, yeah, the 8th. And the retrograde's supposed to start on the 1st,
Don't quote me on
which
that.
is Monday.
Yeah, so yeah, like Nancy said, the Wendigo is everything and not a happy thing. Yeah, I think the Wendigo is more of a he's the meaner version of the one that you don't want me to repeat its name.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
So,
2 hours.
yep. Anybody else have any questions, please? That's crazy.
Hi, Greg.
What's going on, Greg?
Hey, Craig. Yeah, it's the end of the world as we know it.
All right. Well, if you want, nobody else has any questions, we will end so we don't keep you all night.
You're good.
Everything all set? You all set, Kim?
I'm ready. Y'all make sure to go check out the caption. I have all his pages listed. It's JohnJohn's Photos, correct?
Mm-hmm.
He has a Storm Chaser page on there, and also Dark
Explorers Paranormal.
Explorers Paranormal.
Eh.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think I'm following you.
Probably. I think so.
I'm pretty sure I am.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have a lot more on our YouTube, which is also Dark Explorers Paranormal.
Okay.
Okay.
I have to follow that one. I think I did all your
Yeah.
Facebook stuff.
Yeah, the YouTube channel has a lot of crazy stuff on it.
Yeah,
Does
happy
it?
Easter, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I gotta do I think I got YouTube on my iPad
Thank you, Greg.
downloaded.
Aw.
All right. Well,
All right.
we'll say goodnight because John's tired.
Peace.
And good night, everybody. We'll see you next week. And
Good
thank
night.
you, John,
No
for
problem.
coming
Yes.
on tonight. We thank you very much.
No problem at all.
All
Bye,
right.
Brian.
Okay, good night, everybody.
Later.
Peace out.
Peace.